Hello all, it's Tom. We're talking about pre-builts now, and this is the CyberPowerPC Gaming Xtreme VR. Gosh darn it, what a mouthful. And this one is a pre-built under $1,000. Just how much exactly? $900 practically speaking. That's still under $1,000, but it could be cheaper. But I think the ease of just getting a pre-built PC instead of building your own and maybe screwing things up is worth the extra cost. This PC has an i5-13400F and an RTX 4060 with 8GB of VRAM, and before you say anything, yes, it's an i5 13th gen, but that doesn't mean it's bad. Intel i5s are a great middle ground between budget i3s and the more powerful but expensive i7s, and by extension maybe the i9s and the Xeons, but then again, it's still great. The 16GB of DDR5 RAM could be better, it could be 32 instead, but again, it's really alright for this PC. I'll give you a little bit of a recommendation before we end the video later. Now, before we talk about the performance, I'm gonna be honest with you. This PC is more for 1080p gaming. Let's say this is also for 1440p gaming, but then again, it comes with compromises. Anyway, let's jump right into performance instead because, let's be honest, that's probably what you want to know the most. Let's start off with GTA 5. At 1080p at very high settings with MSAA set to 4 times and with advanced settings off, we average around 110 to 130 frames per second. That's already high, and I'm pretty sure you can bump that up to 1440p if you wanted to. Now, what about Cyberpunk? Right off the bat, we're going with 1080p at ultra settings with ray tracing set to ultra as well. Without DLSS, we're seeing an average of around 30 to 35 FPS, which is honestly pretty nice, but still kind of expected since ray tracing is a really taxing setting. With DLSS and frame generation though, we average around 100 FPS. But let's say you don't want any of the ray tracing and DLSS shenanigans. At ultra settings, still 1080p, we get an average of the mid to high 60s and then capping out at about 70 frames per second. Now you've got a basis for how well you can run most modern games. Now, let's talk about a competitive game, Valorant, and again at 1080p with low settings, our FPS varies wildly, somewhere around 250 to 350 frames per second, all depending on what's happening or where you are. At high settings, however, the results don't really change all that much. It's safe to say that this setup handles gaming really well, at 1080p at least. 1440p and higher resolutions might require some more tweaking, but overall, you'll be fine. What about the RAM? I did tell you I was going to recommend a RAM kit to upgrade this with, and that I do. Here's one for you. 32GB, just enough for all your needs. Multitasking, gaming, content creation, productivity, yada yada yada. You can scan the QR codes here on the left for the PC and here on the right for the RAM kit. Or, if you want, you could just click on the links in the description below, whichever you think is most convenient. I'm Tom, have a great day.